because right now there is no contact, according to sources, going on with Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers front office. So the question that we have on the table goes as this: should Damian Lillard want to work with Scoot Henderson? Okay. And I guess I'll start us off because I've been on the record very vocal, very debatey on the show when it comes to this topic. I know debatey is not a word, but when we talk about Damian Lillard, it brought a lot of debates here on the show, a lot of explosive debates because, of the NBA ring culture and stuff like that. And, me preaching loyalty and Dame preaching loyalty and holding on to something that ultimately really isn't there right now. And I think to answer the question outright, no, Dame should not want to work with Scoot Henderson. I think if there was any hope, it would have been trading away this pick and getting another star over there. Not that it would have accomplished the main goal. I don't think anything could be accomplished right now winning a championship in Portland. I'm just keeping it real. But I think the Blazers and Dame should want to do it without each other. I think they should want to do a part right now. And it's not because of anything else other than the fact that you want to see Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and Scoot Henderson grow to their fullest potential. And Damian Lillard being there is not going to help that. Anthony Simons is more productive as a scorer with the basketball. Shaedon Sharpe, we saw with opportunity when Damian Lillard was shut down last year that he can be a potential star in the making. As soon as Dame gets shut down, he looks really, really good. And then Scoot Henderson, from what I've been hearing, a lot of people have been drawing Russell Westbrook comparisons. That tells me he needs the ball in his hands, right? So I think you would want to trade Dame if you're the Blazers. It was always about what direction you wanted to go. And I'm all for the loyalty thing. I'm really all for it. But it's about direction. Obviously, a player is going to want one thing. He's going to want to compete. He's going to want stars. He's going to want names that he knows. But clearly, the Blazers want to go in a different direction. They want to go with the youth movement. You could make the argument that Damian Lillard had the best statistical year of his career. You don't want to waste that. You don't want to keep him on this roster and start to see a declining Dame, because now he's no longer going to be a name. He's going to get a Bradley Beal type package for this guy. What the Wizards got for Bradley Beal is laughable. It's laughable. They voluntarily got robbed. You don't want to do that. You don't want a player to rob an organization. And I'm not saying that Dame is trying to rob the Blazers, right? But to keep it a buck with you, Bradley Beal robbed the Wizards clean, naked, okay? Got nothing for this guy. And a couple years ago, they would have got a pretty decent package for Bradley Beal. Right now, you could get a pretty decent package for Dame because you can make the argument that last year was his best statistical season of his career. So I think they need to trade him. You want to give them an opportunity to grow. And you want to give Dame an opportunity to achieve what he wants to achieve, which is winning a championship. A rookie is not going to change that. A rookie is not going to take this team that did not make the playing game to the playing game, better yet the playoffs, better yet a championship. A rookie is not going to do that. So embrace the change. My last point before I send the rock to you, Zay, to my estimation, I heard some sources that they try to get Mikal Bridges over there and trade that pick, that number 3 pick with Anthony Simons as a package deal. I don't understand why Brooklyn didn't accept that trade. I really feel that Brooklyn is overvaluing Mikal Bridges, and I'm a Mikal Bridges guy. I believe he could be a number 2 on a championship level team, but the Brooklyn Nets are not competing for anything. Okay? They have no assets to go full rebuild. What are they trying to do? What is Brooklyn trying to do? They cannot contend. They're garbage. They cannot rebuild. They have no assets. What are they trying to do? I don't get it. They need to fully embrace the rebuild. They are clinging to stars. They want to hold on to the stars. That was a good package because Anthony Simons could grow up to be an all-star caliber player. Scoot Henderson could grow up to be the same. I would have took it. They was offered 4 first-round draft picks by the Grizzlies for Mikal Bridges. I would have took it, especially being in their position of not having no assets. The Rockets control your future. The Rockets got your soul, okay, because of the James Harden deal. So if that deal was able to go through, I would say, all right, yeah, run it back with Dame. He has a compatible player next to him in Mikal Bridges, and you could work something out. But now that you couldn't get nothing for that pick, and yes, obviously a trade could still go down, but obviously, if you're the Blazers, why bother? Just go full rebuild, trade Dame, let him be happy, right? Because the only thing you're gonna have is a crowded backcourt and a guy in Jemiah Grant who's asking for $150 million. Nah, no, thank you. Good night. Woohoo! I'm done.
That was good. I think Damian Lillard should want to work with Scoot Henderson. We've seen Damian Lillard's ability to play with guards really well. We've seen what he was able to do with Wesley Matthews at one point when he was young. We've seen what he was able to do with CJ McCollum when he came off the bench finally after 2 years of sitting and not playing a single game. We've seen what he's able to do with Anthony Simons, who sitting, another guy who sat on the bench for 2 years, came out and started balling. And I think Scoot Henderson is another addition to this guard play who could become the next dominant player. The Portland Trailblazers have done one thing. They home grow their guards. You could go through the list of great guard play that they've had on that team. They home grow them. From Brandon Roy to Lillard's to McCollum's, Simons, Scoot Henderson. They know how to get the guards. The issue is the guys around the guards. Like Nurkic is not the guy. He can't stay healthy. He's a talented player, but he can't stay healthy to save his life. 8 seasons in, he's had a major injury, I feel like, every year. Jeremiah Grant is really not him. He had a most improved player of the year, but after that, he's not really someone you can rely upon. He's a hustle player, but now he wants to be this high volume scorer. You don't give him money like that. You don't look to acquire a player like that. You need guys around you that can defend well, rebound well, and allow yourself to score the basketball. Offense is never the issue with Portland. It's always the defensive side of the ball. So they need to bring around guys like that. I just think Scoot Henderson brings a different tenacity to the game. He is an abusive player when driving into the paint. He is very strong. You're not going to deter him easily from getting into the basket. You're not going to stop him from getting to the position he wants to get to. And that's the player that Damian Lillard needs alongside of him, because Damian Lillard hasn't had a player of that stature since his tenure in the league. You want someone who can be a physically dominant player, and that's who Scoot Henderson is. Simons is a finesse player. McCollum is a finesse player. Dame Lillard, finesse player. You want someone who's a physical, dominant player, and that's who Scoot Henderson will be in this league. People compared him to John Morant, but he's stronger than John Morant. You said Westbrook. I think Westbrook's a little faster than him, in my opinion, but when you talk about comparisons, he's a strong guy who gets to the rim at ease. And that's somebody that Dame needs to play alongside with for right now. Because when you're talking about trades, you're talking about going where you want to go, the Portland Trailblazers could send you wherever they feel they'll get the most value back. He wants to go to Miami. He wants to go X, Y, Z. Portland has done everything they could possibly give you to succeed, and you haven't. So they're not going to just say, oh, we'll send you to somewhere we want to win a championship. No, we're going to send you somewhere where we'll get the best value back for you. And he'll be bitter. He'll be upset, whatever. But this is something that he signed on to when he signed that contract for an extension for $100 million, 2 years. When he signed those contracts before that, you capped the franchise from getting players to play around you because you want to take the max dollars. Now, it's not your fault you accepted. It's the franchise's fault for sending those offers. That's on them. But you should have signed if you wanted to go win a championship, if you wanted to go win a ring. We understand you're about loyalty from what you're preaching. You're about loyalty. You're about playing in Portland. You want to win one in Portland. Fine. So deal with the consequences of doing that. The organization cannot continue to say we're going to forego talent, forego our future to bring in certain guys that we might not even be able to get. We might not be able to even bring in. So for me, I think he needs to just work with the homegrown talent, get them better, work with them to get better, so then you get to a place where you want to be, which is an NBA Finals.
All right. So basically, when I talked about the loyalty thing a long time ago, right, it was mainly for a couple reasons. Because I didn't know what the direction was going to be. Initially, I thought they was trading that number 3 pick. So I said, all right, fine. They can get that number 3 pick should hold value. right? It should not be unvaluable. If there's no value in that number 3 pick, then there's something wrong with the players coming into this draft, coming into the league, because a number 3 pick should sustain value. Okay, so that's what I thought initially. They was gonna get a second tier Paul George, Zion Williamson caliber player for that pick. Clearly, that didn't happen. All right, so now things have shifted. When you talk about loyalty, loyalty was Kevin Durant leaving. Okay, leaving. That was not loyalty. Leaving Russell Westbrook when he had an opportunity to run it back and beat the team that bounced him. Right? Loyalty was LeBron James leaving Cleveland, or unloyalty, and leaving Miami. Okay, when they could have tried to run it back. So we know what position the Blazers are in. They are not in that position where Durant was with OKC, where Braun was when he left some of the teams he left. They are rebuilding. Dame clearly said that I don't want to be part of a rebuilding situation. He said out of his own mouth. So if you don't want to be a part of a rebuilding situation, then go to a contending situation and ask for a trade. And hopefully that the front office and Dame could work together, since they're loyal to each other, to get a situation that's a win-win on both sides. You go to this team that you could contend with, and I could get a decent package, not pennies on the dollar. Right? If you want to be loyal, you, like I said before, you can be loyal apart. You could do right by the next guy apart. Right? You can end a business deal and you get half of the money. I buy you out. You get your money, I get mine. Good. We don't gotta leave on bad terms. So, for example, Miami, right? You got Tyler Hero, obviously going to be a centerpiece of any deal for a star. It's Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, maybe Schuster, one of those other guys, Vincent, whatever. I'm just throwing out names, right? Highsmith. You could get all those guys or some of those guys in the package deal with some picks. Let's say hypothetically the Brooklyn Nets. He wants to play with Mikal Bridges. You should be able to get Claxton, even though if I'm the Nets, I'm not giving away Claxton. But that's a guy that could replace Nurkic. Okay? And then you talk about a Cam Thomas guy who can score the basketball. So there's ways that you can get, players. You're not going to get great players. You're not trying to be great right now if you're Portland. You're trying to develop the young guys. That's what a rebuild is. So the teams that Dame will probably want to go to can give you, maybe not Brooklyn so much because they don't own their picks, but they do have the picks that they got from the Kyrie and Kevin Durant deal, right? So you can develop those young guys. He already was on this team and played with Anthony Simons for 2 years already. He's developed. He should be developed. Okay, he already did his part over there. He did his part with Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp got some valuable minutes and playing time when he got shut down. He should be developing. Scoot Henderson should be the icing on the cake to jumpstart your rebuild. Trade Dame, allow Dame to win a championship, because by the time these guys are ready and Scoot Henderson, who we saying all these good things about, is ready, Dame will be declined. And what worth is that? Especially when you can't trade him because he has a supermax contract and he's declining. Trade him now. Otherwise, you will end up just like how the Wizards ended up when they just traded Bradley Beal.
That's an interesting point. You made a very valid point, and it makes sense because what we're not seeing the Portland Trailblazers do is really help Dame Lillard, in any capacity. Like, I understand you say they tried, but trying is not enough. We need results. This is a results-driven business, and the Portland Trailblazers have yet to show that. But on the flip side, trading Damian Lillard is not going to be what everyone believes it's going to be with his hauls and all this other stuff. There's a new CBA out there, the new agreement. And it's literally why all these teams are moving on from these huge contracts. Literally reason why the Wizards moved Bradley Beal for the package that they moved him for, because that cap space is going to shrink. It's going to hinder a lot of teams in the future. I mean, you see teams like the Suns who acquired Beal, KD, Devin Booker, and all their picks are gone till 2031. They're going to face the wrath of that. Those teams are going to really be hurt for the next 2 decades damn near because of what just happened, this the little trade right here that you want to win a championship. And you're going to see how bad that franchise is just going to be dismantled. So there's a reason why you keep Dame with Scoot, because they could win with that talent. You're adding talent. You could win with the talent amassed on the Portland Trailblazers. It's just about what are your next moves afterward. You don't need to go after star player after star player after star player, or these these high paid, high volume shooters. You just got to bring in guys who do the intangibles, the guys who fill out the rest of the roster for Dame to work with, the defenders, the rebounders, the perimeter defenders, the playmakers. Like, you just need to round out the team. You don't need this insurmountable amount of talent and change the wheel. You don't need that. All you need is to bring in guys who know how to shoot the three ball, guys who know how to rebound, guys who know how to defend, specialists. But that's the thing. We always focus on who's the star available. And I keep telling them, it's not a star-driven league. It's the guys who are doing the intangibles that are winning these games, the playoffs, the championships, the intangible guys that show up and show out. We just seen Bruce Brown show out.
But Bruce Brown was not the MVP. You need stars to win a championship. Let's be clear. And anybody who tell you otherwise, I don't know what the hell you've been watching for the last 10 years. You need stars, but it's
with Aaron Gordon had a fantastic finals run.
All right, but who won MVP?
You're talking about one player.
No, I'm talking about two players. You had one MVP, and you had a clear number 2 in Jamal Murray, but you had the role players that helped them.
Yeah,
right? So that's what you have to understand.
They won the finals.
They had their role in winning the finals. They had their roles, but Jokic clearly made it easy for them with his playmaking ability. And you take away Jokic's playmaking ability, what they doing?
The Portland has Dame Lillard. So what are we saying? They have a number one.
But what I'm saying, let me get there. What I'm saying is that your stars have to know when to take over the game. Your role players and supporting cast, they have their role. It's like a job description. Your role is to do this and do that.
Yeah.
The superstar role is to take over the game and win the game at the end.
Yes. Damian
Lillard has failed as a superstar, being the number one, is my point.
Oh, no, he hasn't. No, yeah, I don't agree with that. No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he has.
He hasn't.
He has.
He hasn't.
They haven't made the finals. They had teams that made the Western Conference Finals, but they didn't win.
The role players failed their job. Well, how many times we saw? First of all, how many Western Conferences we seen Dame Lillard get hurt in the final Western Conference and couldn't play? How many times we seen CJ McCollum hurt? The role players didn't do their job, and that's the problem. We talk about the role player. I ain't see Nurkic. Where was Nurkic at the last couple playoffs? I don't see him. He's not there. He's non-existent. And he's supposed to be the center. He's supposed to be the guy. Then remember before that, it was Zach Collins. What happened to him? Hurt. What happened? And then before that, Myers Leonard.
So if it's the role players, according to you, right?
Yeah.
Because there were games that Dame went quiet. I saw them games. There's games where he put up a 40 piece. Games where he went quiet. I saw it. I was there. My point is that how many mix and matches are you going to do? Okay, as Dame gets older, before you realize that it's time to move on.
But that's my point. My point is this: you don't have to move on for him.
This team is not a championship roster, bro.
It's not a championship roster, but Dame can make it that when the role players do what they need to do. Scoot Henderson is not going to be the star player right now. He's going to help win the team, help win games. Anthony Simons is not the star player right now. He's going to help win them games.
No, he's going to do a lot of what Dame's going to do because he's a clone of Dame, pretty much.
He's a scorer.
Yeah.
That's fine. You need two scorers. You just said Murray and Jokic, right? Now you got two scorers. Damon, Anthony Simons, two guys who average 25 a game.
Anthony Simons is not on that level. Let's be clear about that. He's not on that level.
Two guys who average 25 points per game, and then you fill out the roster with gritty players. That's what
who are they going to sign? Who are they going to sign that's going to make them a championship level team?
They could bring in guys. They have a whole front office that has nothing but analytic guys. They have to do their research. But Jeremy Grant's not the guy. They signed him for $30 million a year.
There's no moves that they can make that's going to make them a championship contender. They were like, how many games they were from under 500 last year?
A couple.
A couple. They were not even close to making the playoffs.
It's a couple.
They're not going to just make it overnight. Like I said, you're racing the guy prime. Let him go out there and compete for a championship.
He wasted his own prime. The Portland Trailblazers are not wasting. They have a franchise to run. It doesn't run through Dame when we want to work with Dame Lillard. When Dame Lillard retires, the Portland Trailblazers still going to be there.
Yeah. They ain't gonna be selling tickets. That's why they kept Dame. They want to sell tickets.
That's what they want to do. But we've been talking about this for a while. Dame decided to stay. He could have been moved. He could have left last year. He could have left the year before he signed that extension. That's on him. So he has to wait and be patient with the Trailblazers so they can do what's best for their franchise. If of course winning a championship is the most
And
important
doing what's
thing.
best for their franchise is moving Dame because
No, it was moving game, but right now with the
Dame
CBA
said out of
agreement,
his own
it's not
mouth
easy.
that I do not want to play with young guys. I'm not interested in the youth movement. That's
We
what he said.
understand that, but
So you're
they
just gonna have
also
a disgruntled player
no,
on
no.
your
But
roster?
listen, you understand that, but at the same time, you cannot just move guys willy nilly like you did before because the new CBA agreement it caps you. You can't just move on and say I'm gonna trade all my youth or everybody that has easy contracts in the next 3 years, cheap team friendly contracts
So
in the
you're
next three
just
years.
gonna have him sit
Will
on your
start playing.
roster. That's it. So you're just gonna stay there
You have no
because
choice.
of this CBA.
But that's on Dame. That's on Dame. Dame said he didn't want to leave. That's on him.
But this question, all right, fine. That's on Dame, right? He want to stay and not win. Okay, cool. That's smart advice right there to stay and lose. So don't complain. Don't come on the media and talk about I'm not trying to be a part of the youth movement if that's what you want to do.
You shouldn't have complained. The thing is, he complained the last 2 years about this, and he didn't want to leave. So that who falls that? If you complain about something, you don't want to leave in an organization like we all like you said before. You said they tried. It was trying, but Dame don't want to leave. That's on Dame. He keeps staying in the same position where he feels like it's not
like you
changing.
said, like you said before, the franchise got to do what's best for the franchise, right? So if they want to sit and stay and complain, then he shouldn't have the power to do that. The organization got to be the one to say, look, we are trying to embrace the youth movement and we're going to trade you. Whatever assets you can get for Dame right now, you need to get it. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm saying it's not the same assets you would have gotten last year.
But it's better than bottoming out.
We just seen
even if you get a pick, it's better than bottoming out.
We just seen Bradley Beal go for a bunch of second round picks. And Damian Lillard, like we say, he's
it's
not
better than bottoming out. It's better than keeping him there bottoming out.
You could bottom out. You have all your draft picks. You could just keep drafting until you rebuild your team, until Damian Lillard.
Yeah, and until he gets old, and then he just rots on the roster.
You told me this a while ago on a topic. It was a separate topic, but you told me this a while ago. And then this is the reason why you need no trade clauses. Because you, at this point, you rather could stay there and play your contract out, or you could sit out and the team could just keep building their foundation and when you leave, when your contract's over, they will have a set team. You have Scoot Henderson, you have Anthony Simons. If James decides to sit out or he doesn't want to play with this team or whatever he decides to do, they still have their draft picks to continue building the organization. And that's on Dame because it's this player power.
Allowing him to leave for nothing makes sense. Allowing him to just rot his career in Portland with nothing substantial makes more sense than getting a second round pick.
Yeah, I don't want to get a second round. What are you taking a second round pick for? That's those damn undrafted players. For what? I don't need a second round pick.
Nah, listen, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Me personally, anytime I have stars and I'm embracing a rebuild, and I know that they could either be a free agent or they could request a trade or whatever, or they could leave, I'm trading them. I'm getting something back. It's like the 76ers. I am not allowing Harden, even though it looked like Harden returning. If let's say Harden wanted to go and he said that, whatever, I might not be back. I am trading him before he walks and I get nothing for him. I'm just not going to let somebody walk or just sit there and rot. I'm going to trade the guy. He is at his highest peak right now. Like I said with that whole CBA, maybe you study that more than me because I just saw Bradley Beal get traded. We seen stars still get traded. So I'm not sure how much capped you are as far as the assets you could bring. Maybe you could spit that out to the people, but I don't even care at this point. If you can get something back, then get something back. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying this, right? And this is my last take on this, because this is my last take. I think we both, first of all, said a lot that the audience needs to just revisit multiple times, because we both said a lot for both arguments, for both sides of the spectrum. I want to say that the new CBA agreement is forcing teams to make moves that they wouldn't necessarily make without it. We just seen the Wizards move Kristaps Porzingis for Tyus Jones, essentially. They moved Bradley Beal for a bunch of draft picks for CP3 and Landry Shamet. They moved CP3 to the Suns. They moved CP3 to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. And these are moves that wouldn't have been made 2 years ago. So, and this is something that we're seeing a different regression of what the value was. Last year, we just saw Rudy Gobert go for 5 unprotected picks. And Bradley Beal just went for a couple second rounders. Donovan Mitchell, same thing. He went for a few unprotected first round picks. DeJounte Murray went for a few unprotected picks. But I'm saying Damian Lillard, his stats, his capability, his prime as a player is so high, but he's gonna get traded for undervalue because of what the CBA agreement is gonna do to team's cap space. It's
And my
looking
and my
really
point is
bad.
undervalue is better than getting nothing for no value at
You
all.
have 2 years.
My
What do you
point.
want to do right now?
So there was obviously other offers made for Bradley Beal that got
Correct.
turned down that were better than what
Correct.
they settled for. It was a no trade clause. Why they didn't get a better package deal than that garbage? That wasn't even a package deal. That was nothing. That was squash. That was robbery. Right? There were other packages that I heard. I forgot off my top of my head, but there was other packages that teams offered that were more lucrative. May not have been, astounding hauls like the Rudy Gobert's and Mitchell trades, but they were better than what they settled for. But the no trade clause is what capped them from getting anything better than what they got, because he wanted to go to the Suns.
Well, what the Wizards did was since they couldn't get what they wanted, as you stated, they did a good salary cap move, which removes a bunch of salary cap for next season. Next season, they're gonna have almost 80 million in cap space. They could do whatever
Right.
they want at that point.
And that's cap space to sign, free agents and stuff like that. That's what basically, cap space
Or
is
take
for.
on contracts,
And
whatever.
take on contracts or whatever. That, I don't really think that helps your rebuilding like that. The thing that helps a rebuilding was the trading for a star with potential, not star, but a potential star in Jordan Poole. My point is that when you think about the package that they settled for, the big hurdle, and this was already said that it was going to cap any trade value they can get, was a no trade clause. Dame doesn't have a no trade clause. So you can ship Dame away for whatever package you please, for the whatever package is the best package on the table at that time you're trading him. It may not be a lot because of what you said, and I'll take in consideration what you said about the CBA, right? Because obviously you studied that more than me. I heard about it, but I don't know everything about the CBA and how it caps what you bring in and what you take out. Right? I understand it caps the amount of money that you can spend, on a roster and keep together. That's why people were talking about the Jaylen Brown breakup with Tatum. That's what I know. I don't know about the trading part of it and how that caps your trading. You said what you said. I took it in consideration. What I'm saying is, if there's a trade to be made for any value, it's better than not making it for no value. It's better than watching Dame complain every single year, right? As a star player, when you have rookies that's out here trying to ball, he's complaining and he's unhappy, right? You don't want to disengage Dame. We talk about a disengaged Diggs. That's different. Football is different. It's a different sport than the NBA, clearly. And there's other moving parts that you can ignore that in a way and still have success. You can't ignore this situation with Dame when you have rookies out here and second year young stars and stuff like that. You need to let them rock. You need to let them grow. Dame is just going to be a distraction. That's what it is. It really is going to be a distraction. And when they're not winning, he's going to be more angrier. He's going to complain more. And then what? You want to deal with that? Do you want to live with somebody that's complaining a lot? Like, I would not want to live with somebody that's complaining every 5 seconds. I don't. So I think it's best on both sides. And I understand. I appreciate loyalty. They proved their loyalty to each other already. They proved it. They held on. They held on. When everybody moved, they held on. I get it. They proved their point. But now it's time for them to about face and allow Dame to chase greener pastures and allow themselves to embrace the youth movement and allow these guys to develop. If Scoot Henderson is what people are bigging him up to be, then he could be the next Damian Lillard. Allow him to be the Dame Lillard. That's it.
Hey, man, listen, I think we both said a lot of information on this topic. So please, when you watch this video,
it's always this Dame topic. And it's funny because we'll be on one side, you'll be on the other side, and then for all of a sudden we switching sides now. It's crazy.
No, literally. It's this Dame topic is something that's going to continue to be seen until that free agency happens. I believe it's July 1st. So please let us know what you believe on this Dame topic. Should he play with Scoot Henderson, or should he want to get out of there as soon as possible?
And I think that's it. I think that's why they should move on. Because for us to debate this the way we are, be on different sides of the spectrum at different times the way we are, I don't really see the happy medium here. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for the happy medium. I don't see it. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if the Blazers and Dame see it, and if they choose to go that path.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.